Joining. My name is Matt Dietrich. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at the Penn State School of International Affairs. I'm joined by my colleague and the Director of Admissions, Christy Percio, who again is in the chat answering your questions as we go along today. So again, feel free to ask those questions. You don't have to wait until the end. If you want to just get the question off your chest, so to speak, go ahead and put that in the Q&A and we can answer them then. So first we're going to talk a lot about a lot of things today, but first I do want to talk a little bit about Penn State University, but more specifically the School of International Affairs, where you hopefully plan on applying to very soon. And then we're going to get into some of the things that our students are engaging in while they're getting their master's degree in international affairs. And then we're going to talk about the admissions and the application process. So I highly recommend you stick around for that. And then we're going to finish off with answering your questions as well. So looking forward to that. First, to talk a little bit about the School of International Affairs and some quick facts about our program, we do offer a professional master's degree in international affairs. This is different than an academic degree where you are really just taking classes in preparation for a PhD. We're less inclined to prepare students for PhDs, although there is some structure around that. So if you do want to go to PhD, we're still a good stepping stone for that. But I would say the majority of our students and our program really is set up to prepare students to get a job once they leave our program. So there's a lot of professional development workshops and activities that go on within our program to prepare students for that. With that being said, we do only offer a master's degree in international affairs. If you're interested in a degree at Penn State that is not the Master of International Affairs, then unfortunately, I don't think this webinar is a good use of your time today, and we won't be able to speak to anything else. We can't speak to computer science or engineering or anything like that. So I do apologize for that if there's any miscommunication, but again, it is a Master of International Affairs exclusively, and if you want to stick around for that, of course, we absolutely welcome you to do so. We are a member of the Association for Professional Schools of International Affairs, and what this really just speaks to is the rigor and the quality of our education. We are part of the consortium of the top international affairs schools globally, and we're really proud to be a part of that. We offer an interdisciplinary, flexible, and customizable curriculum. We'll talk more about what that means in a little bit, but we'll touch on a lot of facets of international affairs within our program. It's flexible in the way that you can really customize your degree and take a variety of classes within a lot of our concentrations. And it's customizable in that you can choose one of 12 concentrations or completely create your own. And we'll talk, again, like I said, we'll talk more about that soon. We also offer education abroad, and I know that this webinar is for international students specifically, so coming here would be education abroad for you. In some cases, however, maybe you have a degree in the United States and you want to use our program to go to another country and study, or you're looking to go abroad while you're abroad. That's absolutely a possibility. Of course, there's other things to keep in mind, such as visa requirements and passport restrictions. We'll help you navigate all that if you're a student of ours, but I do want to mention our education abroad opportunities. We also have elite experienced faculty, so we have a diverse background of faculty, including former U.S. ambassadors and folks who have worked in the State Department as diplomats for many years around the world. But then we also have scholars of international affairs, from human rights to climate, food, and gender, sociologists, economists in our faculty core. But the other great thing about our faculty is that they bring in a level of practice and scholarship into the classroom as well. And I think that really just increases the value of our degree in the long run. And we have an over 90% career attainment rate. Right now, our career attainment rate is a 93.8% career attainment rate within 1 year of graduating our program. Talking about our curriculum flexibility, you can choose one of 12 concentrations or create your own. You can do so by taking electives in many top Penn State graduate programs or selecting a variety of classes, which is really the preferred method throughout the concentrations that we have listed. And you can find this on our website, which I highly encourage you to go to learn more about our program and the specializations or concentrations that you can get from our degree. You can also complete electives while you're abroad. So if you choose to go abroad in any capacity, you can take graduate level credit and graduate on time. This won't delay your graduation. In some cases, you can add on a graduate certificate, whether that be online or residential. For international students, this may mean a residential option, but this is a popular thing for our students to engage in, to add another credential, gain more skills, particularly for specific jobs they may be interested in. One of the more popular ones is applied statistics or maybe a Homeland Security certificate. These are ones that our students have gotten in the past, and it just adds, again, it adds a credential on to their time here at Penn State. You can start or perfect a foreign language. Again, many of you are international applicants. I totally understand that. I'm sensitive to that. But in some cases, international students are interested in starting or perfecting the language other than English and their native language. And so that is something that we offer here at Penn State as well. And every student is going to complete a master's paper or internship. That is our capstone requirement. Again, most students are choosing the internship due to the professional nature of our program and gaining professional skills and networking, but the master's paper is also an option as well, particularly for those maybe interested in getting a PhD, or they have a lot of professional experience already and they're looking to enhance their writing portfolio, for example. So why should you consider coming to Penn State overall? Well, Penn State is a top 100 global university, according to U.S. News and World Report, as well as topuniversities.com. Penn State does have the largest alumni association globally, with over 175,000 plus dues-paying members of the Penn State Alumni Association and 750,000 plus alumni worldwide. What this speaks to is the vast networking opportunities and the ability to randomly, by happenstance, meet Penn Staters globally. I've quite a few personal anecdotes to this point, which I won't go into now, but suffice it to say that it is possible that you can meet Penn Staters in the professional world as well as the social world. And as far as the professionalism goes, a lot of times Penn Staters are hiring managers. And so seeing a Penn State degree on your resume will pay dividends at the end of the day and for your professional for your professional career in the long run. Penn State also offers a global community, and it is centrally located. You can see on the map here that appeared on your screen that Penn State is located between at least 4 major cities, 3 of them being U.S. cities, 1 being an international city. We are close to, at least within driving distance of Toronto, Canada. And so you can see here that our students are able to get to these cities, whether they be by public transportation or personal vehicle. We do take our students to DC and New York every fall and spring to meet with employers and network with our alumni within the School of International Affairs. And this seems to pay off for students as they seek out careers. We take our students to the United Nations, Council on Foreign Relations, and other nonprofits and NGOs, as well as federal government, which I'm sensitive to the fact that international students are largely not eligible for federal government positions. I totally get that, but it may help to at least expand your network in that regard. The School of International Affairs also hosts an alumni reception at these events where you can meet with SIA alums who live and work in those cities, and that's a great way to build your network as well. Penn State itself has over 70 plus international and multicultural student organizations. So when you are here looking for your a niche group or an affinity group, for example, you can absolutely do so. There are student groups that represent various ethnicities, racial backgrounds, and nationalities across the university. And that is something that I think is attractive to many students, just generally speaking. And then when you look at some of our statistics here, Penn State is a top university within the United States for international student enrollment. Out of the about 46,000 students here, and that may sound like a daunting number, there are quite a lot of students here. About 9,000 of them are international students, so about a quarter or so of them are international students. And you can see here that that is a great number for particularly international students looking to feel welcome and at home. And I think you can do that here at Penn State. It's also a great college, quintessential American college town. It's safe to live here. It's affordable to live here. And I think you'll find that Penn State is a really great place to end up, especially for just a 2-year stint before you go on to the city where you'll live and work for the start of your career. So why should you consider coming to SIA specifically? Well, as I've just got done mentioning that you have full access to an excellent university. You get support from every angle as well here within the School of International Affairs specifically. You get 3-tiered advising. This is the approach that we like to kind of boast about. Every student is going to get an academic advisor, career services advisor, and you'll be paired up with a faculty mentor. We also have peer and alumni mentorship. So every first-year student will be matched up with a great second-year student who can help you navigate the graduate school process, show you around, help you kind of navigate housing and transitioning to a new city, state, country for a lot of you. And we also have alumni mentorship, where you will be matched up with an alumni from the School of International Affairs living and working in a city and industry that may be interesting to you. And this is someone that you can network with, bounce ideas off of, meet with on a semi-regular basis. And I think this is a really great program to help you see what SIA can offer you before you prepare to move on to your first job. Again, we offer education abroad, which I've talked about quite a lot here, networking through the Penn State Alumni Association and the School of International Affairs career trips. We have a tight-knit, diverse, and global community. Our faculty and staff come from a wide variety of backgrounds and nationalities as well. And one thing I love about our program is that our students come from all over the globe. About 25% of our students here within the School of International Affairs are international students. And so not only do students learn from faculty, but they also learn from each other. And that, again, just enhances the value of the degree and the classroom time in the long run. And again, our career attainment rate is really good. It speaks to the quality of our career services office and what is available to students as far as professional development and networking through our career exposure trips to DC and New York and other events that are put on throughout the year. All right. So this is the time where we're going to get into kind of the important aspects of our application. So if you want to screen record or if you want to start taking notes or something like that, this is the time to really dig your heels in and pay attention because this is going to set you up for success. Now, we're not going to go into great detail on each aspect of the application here today, but I am going to kind of give you the outline and give you some tips on how to proceed. If you want to learn more about the nitty-gritty of our application, we do recommend that you sign up for our best practices in applying to graduate school webinar, which will take place in October. I believe there's one maybe in November or December as well. So I do recommend that as well. But let's get started on some deadlines here. All right, so our first most important deadline is the merit-based scholarship deadline. In order to be considered for generous merit-based scholarships, you must apply no later than January 31st of 2025. This is for fall 2025 semester. Applying after this date greatly reduces the chances that you get or that you're even considered for merit-based scholarships. And I'll talk a little bit about merit-based scholarships later, but just for right now, apply by January 31st. This means you have an entirely completed application, letters of recommendation, statement of purpose, TOEFL and IELTS scores are submitted, and all of the supplemental questions are submitted. So please make sure that you are starting to work on the application now so that you are not at risk of missing this deadline. We have a final deadline for admission, no later than March 21st of 2025, and that is by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. By this point, we may not have scholarships available. This is really just on a case-by-case basis. That's why I recommend applying no later than January 31st. If you apply by March 21st, there may still be seats available, but it's not guaranteed, and scholarships at this point are not guaranteed as well. Anything after March 21st is on a rolling basis. As an international applicant, if you apply after March 21st, you are not setting yourself up for success regarding getting the I-20 and the visa. So applying by January 31st puts you at in a best case scenario for admission, scholarships, and giving yourself enough time to get the I-20 as well as the visa in time for August classes. All right. So how to apply to our program. So first, you must go onto our website. For any graduate program, just across the board, if you're not on their website, learning about how to apply and seeing the deadlines there for yourself, you're not setting yourself up for success. So please go onto our website first. We have all of the requirements there. We lay it out pretty in depth. So please don't just use this webinar as a check mark that you know how to apply to our program. The website is the place to go. So as far as our application requirements go, you do need a current resume or CV. So please make sure that is up to date and tailored to our program specifically. We do need a copy of your official transcripts upon application. A lot of times for international applicants, you will need the native language transcripts as well as the English translation transcripts submitted upon application to mitigate any delays in processing. So make sure that you are doing that. A copy of the official transcripts does not include grade reports, semester reports, advising transcripts. We do need the official transcripts upon application. If any time you have transcripts in your possession, whether digitally or physically, these then become unofficial transcripts. So please make sure those are okay to apply with if it's a copy of the actual official. But if you're admitted, we will need the official transcripts sent from your undergraduate institution to Penn State directly without you being a medium of submission. Again, the English translation is required. We will then need the statement of purpose as well. There are 2 prompts on our website. You'll pick one and write it in cover letter fashion. It's anywhere between 500 and 750 words. Writing less than that is not recommended. If you write a little bit more than 750 words, that's okay, but please don't write us a novel. The admissions committee does have a lot of these to read through, and we just want to make sure that we can get through yours in a timely way. And so keeping it around 750 words is ideal. As far as a statement of purpose goes, some recommendations with the statement of purpose is we want to see that you know about our program and that you've thought seriously about why you want to come to the School of International Affairs at Penn State University. What are some concentrations or professors that you would like to work with and on? Maybe some classes. Really tailor the statement of purpose to our program specifically. Copying and pasting from other programs is something that we can detect pretty easily. So make sure that you are really looking into what we're about and how we can help you achieve your career and professional goals through our program. That is the best. Some of the best statements of purpose are able to combine all of these facets and really just tell a story about why we're necessary for your next step. The use of ChatGPT or plagiarism is grounds for denial of your application. Our policy is listed on the website under the statement of purpose section, so please make sure that you read that thoroughly before submitting your application. We do need the contact information for 2 recommenders. We recommend at least one faculty member from your undergraduate degree, and you can have one supervisor as well from a relevant professional experience or internship. That is fine. We do recommend that you have at least 2 faculty recommendations, but we understand that in some cases rather, maybe you've been out of college for a long time and you really only have professional references. That is totally okay. If you can, one faculty recommendation is preferred. We also need you to complete the program-specific questions at the end of the application. Again, the use of ChatGPT or plagiarism, this will be checked. So using AI-generated software or large language models or any form of plagiarism is grounds for denial of your application. We also need proof of English proficiency through either IELTS or TOEFL. If you submit IELTS scores, these need to be sent from the testing agency to Penn State directly. They can't be submitted by you. And then for TOEFL, we also need the official score sent from ETS to Penn State using the code 2660. If you've taken the IELTS exam, we need a minimum of a 6.5 overall band score. If you've taken the TOEFL exam, and the minimum score is an 80 on the internet-based test with a 19 on the speaking portion. These are requirements. There is no exemption process whatsoever. We cannot provide any exceptions. The use of Duolingo is not accepted by Penn State. TOEFL and IELTS are the only forms of English proficiency that we will accept. And the final point on this is that there are certain countries that are automatically exempt from English proficiency exams. That is on our website. If your country is not on that list, despite English being the most commonly spoken language or the official language, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say that we can't provide any exception outside of the list that is on our website. So again, go on our website. If this hasn't been clear yet, go on our website, make sure that all of your T's are crossed and I's are dotted, all of the ducks are in a row so that you can successfully apply to our program. It's really incumbent upon you to do your research on what is needed to successfully apply. You also need a conferred degree that is comparable to a U.S. four-year bachelor's degree. In some cases, you may have a 3-year degree, and that would likely mean that you need a 1-year postgraduate diploma or a 1-year master's degree on top of that. If it is not comparable to a 4-year bachelor's degree, then unfortunately you will not be eligible for admission to the Penn State Graduate School. In addition, and for example, if you're a European applicant and you don't have at least 240 ECTS credits, then you don't have a comparable 4-year bachelor's degree within the United States. And unfortunately, you would need additional credits to meet that threshold. So I'm just giving you some examples. Every country is different. On our website, again, you can look at the country eligibility webpage to ensure that you have met the eligibility requirements for admission to the graduate school at Penn State, which is the last point there. All right, let's talk about tuition and then scholarships, because this is a question Christy and I get quite often, and we want to make sure things are clear on that front as you prepare to financially invest in yourself for your future. Out-of-state and international students should expect to pay this for tuition. You can see that in the fall and the spring semester, there is a difference in tuition, and I will explain what that means in just a little bit. This is the billable expenses for the first year of the program. This is what you might expect to pay on the tuition bill itself. This does not include living expenses. This is just tuition and fees. And that's roughly $39,000. Suffice it to say, approximately $40,000. For non-billable expenses, Penn State estimates that you'll pay roughly $16,474 per year. This includes rent, meals, and books. As far as rent and meals, this is up to you, depending on your lifestyle, where you live, how much you eat out. Do you go to restaurants? Do you buy your groceries and cook for yourself, right? This is just really dependent upon your lifestyle. As far as books go, you might not pay $600 per semester in books at the School of International Affairs. Many students are not paying that much money, so I don't anticipate you'll need that much money for books. However, international students, all of this is necessary for regardless of how much you spend on lifestyle or how many credits you are enrolled in, you will need a certain level of money for the financial guarantee, which is required for the I-20, which I'll talk about here in a second. So some important tuition notes. The rates that I've just showed you, the tuition rates that I've just shown you here on the screen are for 2024-2025, so the current academic year, and they're subject to an increase announced in July 2025. So typically there's about a 3 to 6% increase in tuition, which you will see later in July 2025. The non-billable expenses, which are shown on the left side of the screen, are estimates based on the cost of living. Again, non-billable means it will not show up on the tuition bill. This will not show up on the tuition bill whatsoever. But it does include other miscellaneous costs, of course. So you may end up paying more than $16,474 per year or less than that. It really, again, just depends on your lifestyle. This is an important note that I want to make, so please make sure you're taking note of this specifically. The tuition rates in the fall are based on 12 credits, and the tuition rates for the spring are based on 9 credits, only in my example here. This is not always true. Anytime you take 12 credits, the tuition increases from the 9 credit to the 12 credit level. Anything from 12 to 18 credits is the same price. I wanted to show you that in this example so that you understand that many times SIA students take 12 credits in the fall semester and either 12 or 9 credits in the spring semester. It just depends on your academic journey and what kind of classes you're taking. But typically, students are starting off taking 12 credits in our program. International students, which is likely all of you at this point, must meet the financial guarantee no matter how many credits you're enrolled in. For fall 2024, 2025, this was approximately $61,800 at the Penn State University Park campus. Without the financial guarantee, you cannot get the I-20, and the I-20 is absolutely necessary for your visa interview. All of this will be explained to you if you're admitted to our program, but prior to applying to our program, I really recommend that you have a financial plan so that you can meet the financial guarantee and make it through the process so that you can attend Penn State in fall 2025 if you're admitted. This is important before you apply, just so that you can determine if this is feasible for you or not. Talking a little bit about scholarships. So in fall 2024, 100% of admitted students that were eligible for a scholarship received something. Scholarships are limited, they're not guaranteed, and they're completely based on the merit of your application, the quality of your application. We don't have any financial need-based scholarships or anything like that. They're only based on the quality of your application. Scholarships can discount your tuition up to about 60% of tuition, but 60% tuition discount is really for our top applicants. Not everyone is seeing that level of discount, so that's why we recommend you put together a really solid application. You apply early, you get good letters of recommendation, you answer all the questions, you don't plagiarize or use any AI-generated language, and you do a good job on your IELTS or TOEFL exam scores. And everything is submitted in a timely way. International students, you can use scholarship towards the financial guarantee. So I understand that $61,800 is a daunting number. Whatever scholarship you earn from us, you'll take the $61,800 minus the scholarship you get from us, and then you'll have to make up the difference with external means of funding, which I believe I'll talk a little bit about here soon. There are no fully funded scholarships available for our program. So if you're looking for a program that only has full funding, which includes GA or TA positions, we do not offer that here at the School of International Affairs. You will need to look for external means of funding to cover the remaining costs of tuition after a scholarship is applied. You do need to begin to look for external means of funding as soon as you apply. So let any scholarship that you might get from us, again, it's not guaranteed that you get anything from us. If you get a scholarship from us, then let that be kind of in addition to what you've received from external means of funding. This can be through private corporations or government agencies, any fellowships through universities that are external to us. Maybe your undergraduate university has scholarship funding for graduate study outside of their programs. Maybe you work for a company that offers scholarships for its employees. Look for those types of means of funding so that you can begin to prepare financially to attend a graduate program in the United States. Some other important considerations. Plan for the visa, immigration, and I-20 process as early as possible and do not delay. This means becoming aware of visa wait times in your home country. There's a really helpful website offered by the United States Department of State to let you know the visa wait times at your local embassy or consulate. So to give you an example, in some countries, the visa wait time is over 365 days. Even if you apply to our program now, if you got admission into our program in February, this means you would need to apply for a visa appointment and then apply for an expedited visa appointment. This is why it's so important that you have a financial plan, because the longer it takes you to get an I-20, then the longer it takes you to get a visa appointment. If there are delays in your home country on visas, then you need to apply for an expedited a visa appointment, and all of this is a factor. So please make sure you have a genuine plan moving forward. Otherwise, arriving here by fall 2025 dwindles as each day goes by. Know what to expect at a visa interview. This includes checking in with your home country's Education USA office. I can't recommend highly enough that once you apply to our program, that you go to your Education USA office's website, meet with an Education USA advisor, talk about the visa process, ask about any scholarships that they may recommend to you, talk about setting a budget for going to a graduate program in the United States, and ask them what might you be asked at a visa interview. One of the things that we highly recommend that you consider and just be very mindful of in the visa interview process is what your postgraduate plans are. Do you plan on coming back to your home country? This is a very important thing that visa officers might be asking you. We're not sure exactly. It's just something to be made aware of. Also, you should be aware of that visa officers might ask how you pay for your degree. So this is why the financial plan is also super important to keep in mind as you prepare to apply to our program and potentially get a degree in the United States. You also want to peruse the Penn State International Student and Scholar Advising website for additional information. Our Global Programs Office here at Penn State has a plethora of information on our website. It's very thorough to help you to prepare for visas, I-20s, and coming to the United States to study. Also, explore outside funding sources as early as possible. You can even start now before you apply to our program. And that is everything. So I do recommend that you connect with us and that you apply as soon as possible. I do want to thank you for your time today. And we do welcome your questions. So please go ahead and use the Q&A box to ask those questions. If we've done such a good job today in answering all of your questions and you have none, we do wish you a great rest of your day. You don't have to stick around if you don't want to. But yes, we will give a minute for you to think of a question and put that in the Q&A box so that we can answer that. And feel free to also reach out to us via email with any questions that you may have. And I will give it just a moment here. Great. So someone asks, can I connect with an admission officer at SIA to get to know more about SIA? Yes, absolutely. So I don't know what kind of device you're using to chat with us today. And I meant to type an answer. But you can go on to sia.psu.edu/connect and set up a meeting with Christy and or myself, and we're happy to have a conversation with you. You can also scan the Connect QR code here, and I'm going to put this in the chat for everyone to see as well. And we're happy to set up one-on-one meetings with you. You can book time on our calendar to do so. Another good question comes in. Is it likely for international students to stay in the US after graduation? So good question, and this was kind of what I was alluding to as far as the visa interviews go. So I think this is a multi-pronged answer, so I'm going to try and answer in a way that makes sense, but also succinctly as well. So there are a few things to consider in staying in the United States after graduation. The first point is there is a possibility for OPT. OPT is essentially an extension on your student visa to stay in the United States for professional development purposes that are specifically an internship or a job that you were offered after graduation. I do recommend that you look into the OPT extension on your own time. I'm not an expert in this at all. I just know about it anecdotally. Um, our director of career services has more intimate knowledge on the OPT process, and he has successfully helped international students go through the process to apply to it. And we have had quite a few international students, of course, stick around for an additional year because they were offered a job or an internship, and they stayed around for that additional OPT year post graduation. In other cases, students are offered after graduation full-time positions, and it is up to the employer to either sponsor the visa or if you get the visa to stick around. I believe it's an H-1B, although again, I'm not the expert on the visas at all. But students do stay around for post-grad employment longer than the 1 year, of course. And again, it's just up to the employer to sponsor that. It's quite expensive, so the employers that do sponsor those, it varies. So I'm not exactly sure specific examples right now. That is a question for our director of career services. So that is a good question though. In addition to this, what I want to say is in the visa interview, you want to make sure that you're aware of this question and do some research on the best way to answer this question as well. We've heard in the past that it's possible that visas can be denied if you have no intention of returning home to your home country after graduating from our program. If you indicate that you want to stay in the United States, it could not be in your favor regarding the visa. So just do your research, check in with your Education USA advisor, and make sure that that's true. Again, I'm not a visa expert, so I'm not giving you advice on what to say. I'm only just saying be mindful of these types of things because it could go one way or the other depending on what you say. So hopefully that helps. Thanks so much for that question. I know that was long-winded, but I wanted to give you the best possible information. Great. All right. Are there any other questions that I can answer for you today? And again, we do have available times throughout our week that we can meet with students individually. So if you use the link that I put in the chat, feel free to go onto that and you can find ways to book one-on-one meetings with admissions. A question is, are there any labs or fellowships within the department? There are no labs within our department specifically, but and labs to specify, are there the question can be, are there opportunities for students to get professional exposure through our program on campus? Research labs. Not within our program specifically. There may be an opportunity to do some sort of research with faculty members. That's based upon availability, of course. Fellowships, there are no fellowships within our department for international students. There may be some opportunities to find GA or TA ships at the university, but planning to do that is not a recipe for success. That should be something that you figure out Once you have everything else figured out and you're an actual student here at the School of International Affairs, if you find anything at the university, then that's good for you. All right. So there was a question that came through in the chat specifically here. We're getting a few questions about application fee waivers, and I'm going to see if I can copy this. Apologies. There we go. So I'm also putting it in the chat, even though it's been answered in the Q&A. Thank you, Christy, about application fee waivers. So application fee waivers can be applied for. So please use the link if you're interested in an application fee waiver. We will review those on a case-by-case basis. You will need to apply for an app fee waiver, and we will follow up if you have successfully answered those questions to our satisfaction. All right, wow, the questions are coming in now. So someone asks, any alums who have done a joint degree program? Okay, so yes, any alums who have done a joint degree program. So there is one joint degree program that we have established with Penn State Law. You do have to be a Juris Doctorate student and be admitted into their program first. There's some other stuff in the works that we can't really talk about right now, of course, but you may be interested in potential joint degree programs in the future, and hopefully we can provide information on that. So keep an eye on your email if that comes to fruition, and that may be something that is attractive to you. I'm not sure. As far as other joint degree programs, it's possible to get a concurrent master's degree with the Master of International Affairs, but it does take a lot of legwork on your end to establish it, and you have to get admitted into their program too. If you use the School of International Affairs as your home program, that's possible, but you really have to just get into our program and get here first before you proceed with concurrent master's degrees. There's structure for it and precedent for it, but it's not a common thing. So you just have to work with advising staff on our end and the other end as far as the other master's degree to figure that out. Someone else asks, is there a way to know the current research that faculty members are working on? I just recommend getting on our website and looking at the news stories that are percolating through our news RSS feed on our website. That's the best way to figure that out. Also, go onto our faculty webpage on our website. And this is really great practice to learn about our program. And look at our faculty members and what they're doing individually. So those are some key points of advice. Here's the other point that this raises is we often get this question is, do I need to reach out to faculty members and get their approval or figure out what they're working on and get admission in that type of way? We don't really operate like that. The entire admissions process is done through Christy and myself. We can connect folks after they're admitted to faculty members to just learn more about them and see if this is the right place for you. But you're not exactly doing research with faculty like you would in a traditional academic program, although you will have faculty mentors. Again, this is not the type of program where you get admitted to our program to work with a specific faculty member. That's not our modus operandi. Again, we're working on professional development skills to get you a job post-graduation, and faculty members are largely removed from that specifically. So you don't need to reach out to faculty members or the dean of our program or anything like that. Christy and I will be your main source of information through that point. Someone asks, is there still room for a live question? Yeah, please feel free to type out your question now. That's what we're doing right now. And I can give you a second to ask that question. Another question came through. Does the program accommodate co-op, and do we source that ourselves? And does the program have an available list of organizations we can intern with? Not really co-ops. There aren't really co-ops available. That's not how we work. Regarding internships, however, internships are based upon what you want to do. We don't give you an internship. Our director of career services will sit down with you in the first month of joining our program, and you will have a discussion with him on, what you want to be when you grow up, the types of things you're interested in, what your background is, and then what gaps you need to fill in order to get to that job, right, that you're interested in post-graduation. And then he'll give you a list of places to apply to for internships based upon your interests. So we don't have like a publicly available list, for example, of places students have interned at. This is kind of like a running internal list that our director of career services owns, and he will be your best source of information on that. But the places that our students are interning at are largely in DC, sometimes in New York, sometimes they're remote, sometimes they're in Geneva, sometimes they're in South Africa. It really just depends on what you're interested in, where the internship is. You find the internship, we help you we help you make sure your resume and your cover letters are tailored to that job. And so we provide the support around that. Our students have a really high success rate of getting internships as long as they're just doing everything that they need to do to successfully get to that point. If you're waiting until the last minute, that's not great. But we do have the resources around helping that matriculate. All right. What other questions do we have? And hopefully this is helpful to you. Again, we have a lot of information that we can share, but we hope that you drive the conversation with your questions. But if there are none, of course, and we've done a good job at answering all of your questions, I hope we have, then we can of course let you go. But all right, another great question. I saw on the program website that we could tailor our program. How does that go? Yeah, so you can customize the program. There's some flexibility there. You can choose one of 12 concentrations or completely create your own. As far as tailoring the program, if you create your own concentration, or so there's, I think, maybe two major ways. If you choose one of our concentrations, um, let's put it this way. If you choose the international security concentration, you only need 4 classes within that concentration to make that concentration approved. But we have, uh, you know, 25 classes that you can choose from. This is part of the flexibility in the tailoring. So if you're international security studies, but you want to focus on weapons of mass destruction, then you'll take classes that are focused on weapons of mass destruction, and you'll get an international security studies certificate, or a concentration rather, with a focus on weapons of mass destruction. If you want to create your own concentration because you're interested in human rights and dispute resolution, for example, you'll take a mix of classes within those concentrations, both to form a concentration around human rights and dispute resolution. And I'm just giving you kind of an example on that. If you're interested in international law with an emphasis on the environment, then you'll take classes at Penn State Law and classes within our environment concentration as well. All of the classes are on our website. They're already pre-approved, so you can go ahead and check those out with all of the parameters around that. This is kind of how you can tailor the program, and hopefully that makes sense to you, and that you like that. Hopefully you like that. But there are many classes here at Penn State, so you can have the ability to do so. All right. And then the follow-up is, does that cost more? No, it doesn't. Let me clarify that it's not that it, again, earlier, and I don't know when you came into the webinar today. At 9 credits, the tuition is one price, but once you start taking 12 credits, it's another price. So if you try to do 2 concentrations, for example, you have to take more classes, which means that you're going to be taking 12 or more credits per semester, which is a little bit more expensive than if you just took 9 credits per semester. Most of our students, just flat out, they're taking more than 12 credits per semester. So they're paying a little bit more per semester in the long run. So just be mindful of this. Regardless, though, to get the I-20, you need to provide the financial guarantee, and it doesn't matter how many classes you have in your schedule. All right. Another question did come through. Just give me 1 second here. Can I submit a letter from my previous institution and/or school for the medium of instruction, which is English? Would that be accepted as a replacement for IELTS or TOEFL, as I studied 15 straight years in English? It depends on what country you're from. So the only way to be exempt from IELTS or TOEFL is if your country is already approved by Penn State, by the Penn State Graduate School as being, okay, India, yeah, India is not on that list. You will need to submit, I'm pretty sure India is not on that list, which is on our website. I'm like 99% sure India is not on that list. So you will need to submit IELTS or TOEFL scores, and there's no exemption process, unfortunately. I wish I had better news for you, but you will need to submit IELTS or TOEFL scores. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, and Christy confirmed my, to me personally, Christy confirmed my suspicion that you must submit IELTS or TOEFL. So, um, no, no. Can a good, additionally, can a good score in GRE verbal be an alternative? Yeah, there is no exemption process. You must submit TOEFL or IELTS. You must submit TOEFL or IELTS. Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Well, it looks like we are coming down to our time here. So uh we are coming down to the end of our time here today. We do appreciate you joining us. I hope we were helpful and that you got the information that you needed. You can play this back on YouTube if you'd like. We'll have this posted within the next few days or so, and there are archives of webinars in the past, as well as Q&As that you can watch as well to get any other questions answered there. Feel free to book a meeting with Christy or myself individually. We're happy to meet with you. One other question did come in. We'll take this as our last question, and we'll see you all later. I have an undergraduate degree in classical studies and a master's degree in industrial relations, and I would like to know if I can do another master's program related to international labor relations, as I have interest in that aspect, and I would love to apply for such in the school. Great question. We get this question quite often. You do not have to have a particular background to be admitted into our program. We have students coming from engineering, business, journalism, communications, and of course the common ones like history, international affairs or relations, political science, global studies, languages, French, Spanish, Chinese, et cetera, et cetera. So don't worry about the academic background you have. Just make sure in your application you're giving us an indication why you're switching from one unrelated area to international affairs, so that we have an understanding that you're truly serious about coming here and that you're not just trying to throw spaghetti at a wall, seeing what sticks. We want to make sure that you're truly serious about coming to our program, and that you have a clear trajectory as to what you want to do with our degree. As far as international labor relations, again, everyone gets a Master of International Affairs. However, you can get a concentration in whatever you'd like. And international labor relations is likely possible. Maybe through our international business and economics track, there are classes within that you can take. But make sure that you're making that specific in the application. So, okay, questions keep coming in. So, we're going to end here very, very soon. Is the scholarship applicable to fields under the program? Scholarship is applicable to the Master of International Affairs, regardless of your concentration. It does not matter. All right. Is there an advantage for people who have work experience over those who have interest and passion? I don't know if this question can be answered. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Is there an advantage for people who have work experience over those who have interest in it? I would say not necessarily, right? Because people come from various backgrounds as far as work experience, undergraduate degrees. If you have an interest and a passion, I would just say make sure that you are clear that your interest and passion is something you want to make a profession or a career, and how you anticipate getting to that point. Um, I have an interest and passion in quite a lot of things, but I might not necessarily get a master's degree in that. So make sure you're making it clear that a master's degree is necessary to fuel your interest and passion in a professional context. Um, because really, you can scratch your scratch the itch of an interest and a passion by just reading the New York Times every day, right? Why getting a master's degree though? If you just say, I just want to travel the world, then go ahead and travel the world. You don't necessarily need a master's degree. But if you want to tackle big global challenges like gender and human rights in a Middle Eastern context, and again, I'm just making things up as I go, just to give you an example. Talk about how you want to get to that because you're super interested and passionate in that. Talk about how our program can help you get to that point. And I hope that question, or I hope that answers your question. That is a good question. If you don't have work experience in that particular area, yeah, that's okay.